What if one tiny spray cap could completely change the texture of a graffiti piece? Last week in Lachine, I tried something I've never tried before, a needle cap. It sputters, it spits paint everywhere, and honestly, I had no idea if it was going to ruin the piece or make it incredible. But combined with a background inspired by my acrylic pouring techniques, it ended up creating one of the most textured graffiti pieces I've painted. So today, I'm going to show you exactly how I built this piece, step by step. Hey gang, what is going on? My name is S1. I'm a writer from Montreal, Canada. I'm here in Lachine today at Duff Court to go over my old Halloween piece and do something pretty crazy, man. And if you haven't noticed, it's a beautiful day in the ghetto today, man. It's really warm, really nice. For early March, we'll take it. But first, this wall is peeling like crazy, so let's go and scrub it. Boom.
20 minutes later.
Well, that took a lot longer than expected, man. Damn, there's a cemetery of crust at the bottom too. Now let's prime this wall and get it started. Last week we had one of those rare, beautiful early March days in Montreal. The sun was out, the wall was dry, and I had a few hours to paint. Now when I paint outside, I only have about 4 to 5 hours, so prep is everything. Before touching the wall, I already had my full sketch ready, my color plan mapped out, and a new cap I wanted to experiment with. Because this piece wasn't just about the letters, it was about texture. Now the first step is always getting the structure right. I'll start by lightly sketching the piece directly on the wall. This helps me lock the proportions, center the composition, and decide where the energy flows. My style lately has been evolving into a wider, more aggressive wild style shape. Lots of movement, lots of sharp extension, lots of symmetry, and a strong center point to balance everything out. Alright, now that we got everything traced, I want to do a background that kind of looks like what I do with my acrylic pourings. I'm going to do a design in the background with some silver lacing in there. So let's try that out and get it rocking. Once the skeleton was down, it was time for the background. Instead of a traditional graffiti background, I designed something inspired by my acrylic pouring paintings. If you watch my canvas videos, you know I love that organic flowing movement. So I tried translating that look onto the wall. The idea was to create something that looks almost like liquid or flowing paint beneath the piece. I built the background using soft blends and sweeping motion to mimic that fluid pouring effect. Once that was done, I brought out the cap I've been waiting to test. This is where things got interesting. I tried a needle cap for the first time. Now this cap behaves very differently from normal caps. Instead of spraying smooth paint, it sputters and spits tiny droplets. At first, it feels completely out of control. But that chaotic spray actually creates incredible texture. So I used it to spray over portions of the background and create these fluorescent smoke effect around the piece. Then I tried it up close. This thing can make some sweet sharp lines. Very thin too, I'd say about 2 to 3 millimeters. The result looks almost like glowing mist. And because the droplets vary in size, it adds a lot of depth and randomness that's impossible to fake. Final thoughts about the needle cap? Essential. You need that in your arsenal for sure. Whether you're going to spray it around your piece to make cool effects and textures, or you want to go up close and do some very thin, sharp lines. For designs or even for your outline, you gotta have it. Once the background was finished, it was time to build the letters. For the fill, I chose 4 shades of purple. Purple is one of my favorite graffiti colors because it has richness, depth, and it contrasts incredibly well with neon green.
Yeah, they hate when you elevate. The second of losses, I'm handing them out, yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment, I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly, I had to go demonstrate. I had to set them straight. They hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. Yeah. They hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate, yeah. I had to elevate. I'm way too fly. Yeah, I'm feeling myself. Ain't no chance I'm coming down, no. Got a soul view to myself. Yeah, why would I give it up? Why do they wanna come take my place? I work too hard for it, don't need a replacement. This my vocation. Now I got rollies all in rotation. Hop on the jet just to take a vacation. Remember the moments was trapped in the basement. Now the hard work is all taking me places. Squatting on bed like we trapped in the matrix. Bet on myself and go ball out in Vegas. Living a life like I'm rich and I'm famous. Don't see the grind that I know that it came with. Oh, I ain't make it this far for myself. Yeah. I had to prove to everybody else. I had to set them straight. Yeah, I had to boss. I had to renovate. I know they hate when you elevate. The second of losses, I'm handing them out. Yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment. I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly. I had to go demonstrate. I had to set them straight. They hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. Yeah, they hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate. Yeah, I had to elevate. Oh yeah, why they wanna bring me down? So much drip, yeah, I almost drowned in it. I can't dim it down. Yeah, I'm way too fired up. I can't simmer down. Oh yeah. I see the flashing lights. Make sure the fashion right. Yeah, I'm in my bag tonight. Yeah. Oh, I might just pull up a foreign. Watch out, the engine is roaring. It's too loud, you can ignore it. Yeah. This the high life with a few. You get to have it all, no need to choose. First, let me demonstrate how you can rise to the top. Yeah, I had to elevate. Yeah.
After the fill was down, I logged the piece together with a thick Amazon green outline. That strong outline really helps the letters pop forward off the background, but that real depth comes from the 3D. Alright, the fill is done, the outline's done, time to get this 3D rocking. So for the 3D, I use a gradient of greens. Amazon green, Aero green, Hulk green, Iguana green. Then at the tips, I added medium yellow and Ipanema yellow. That transition from deep green to bright yellow gives the piece a glowing effect. Almost like light is hitting the edges. It also helps push the letters forward visually. Inside the darkest portions of the fill, I used a tiny pink stencil cap. With it, I created a web-style inline pattern using woodstock purple. This does two important things. First, it adds texture inside the letters. Second, it separates the fill from the outline without making the piece look cluttered. Tiny details like this are what give graffiti pieces that layered complexity. To finish the piece, I went around the entire outline again using a tiny pink stencil cap with white paint, but only in the areas where the fluorescent smoke touches the letters. These tiny lines simulate light hitting the edges of the piece. They create a subtle glow that helps blend the smoke and the letters together. Small detail, huge impact. Oh, and by the way guys, I have great news. My website is finally online and live. Go check out s1graffiti.com so you can see my canvases, my murals, my feed, and all the cool stuff I have for sale. Check it out, and thanks. And this is the final result. Between the Acrylic-pour style background, the needle cap texture, and the green 3D glow, this piece ended up having way more depth than I originally planned. Sometimes experimenting with a new tool completely changes how a piece evolves, and honestly, that's one of my favorite parts of graffiti. If you enjoyed this piece and want to see more graffiti experiments like this one, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn that bell on. I've got a lot more walls coming this year, and a lot more cap experiments. So let me know in the comments, have you ever tried the needle cap? Because I definitively think I'll be using this one again. Anyways, thanks for watching, I'll see you on the next wall, until next time, stay up!